every now and then WWE release a poll that really gets you thinking. WWE.com usually release these polls that are very stupid and ask these dumb questions about, who has a better mustache, or which one has the better t-shirt. I don't know, stupid questions like that. But then they'll ask the one question that really has to be thought, like the one that really gets you thinking, you know. And last night's or yesterday's poll really showed that. It showed that you really do have to think which show has the better women's roster. Hello and welcome to BWI Women's Division channel. This is a channel where I will talk about the art of women's wrestling, and already this video is going to be talking about that one question that I just seriously had to talk about. Which show does have the better women's roster? I've obviously kind of already showed a bit more favoritism towards the SmackDown women's roster. That's just me personally, because I like to see everybody, compete and everybody benefit, and that's what we see on SmackDown. We see a couple feuds going on, and we see every single lady looking strong and pretty strong for going into the women's championship picture. We see all of these ladies actually being built up, and we see them being a plausible threat to the throne and plausible threat for the women's championship. Wait, I have to sneeze. My bad, I had to sneeze. So when you look at Raw's women's division, it lacks the amount of booking. The booking is pretty bad. I mean, sure, you have the epic showdown that is Sasha Banks and Bayley, but that's just laziness if you think about it. We don't need to see another Sasha Banks versus Bayley, although it's awesome that we're seeing it. The thing with that is that we'd have to probably see another record breaking or another historic match like a Hell in a Cell or a Steel Cage or a tables match, which would never happen because Sasha has said that she has not. That's like the one match she wouldn't do. But I wouldn't put anything against the boss. She's like an amazing sport, so I bet you if they tell her, hey, would you do a ladder match, she'll go for it, or a tables match, I mean, she'll go for it. But that's the thing. It's, if you really do think about it, it's laziness, because out of all of the women on that roster that they can put Sasha Banks and or Charlotte against, we're just gonna get the same NXT stuff, and that's what I think shouldn't happen. If that's the case, if you're gonna want to revisit NXT, that'll be the perfect time to put Paige and Emma on the same show and have a Paige and Emma showdown and have the two go at it and say, hey, we paved the way for all of you, so how about you sit back and relax and learn from the veterans? That's the thing with Raw, though, that it won't happen. We won't see Summer Rae, Fox, or Paige be champ ever as long as they're on Raw. But they do have the better women's roster in terms of wrestling, in terms of the better star power. It's Raw, because you have Paige, who is very charismatic and who the fans always seem to love. You have Sasha Banks, who the fans absolutely freaking love. And you have Charlotte, who is a two-time women's champion. You have Bayley, the most over wrestler in all of WWE history. That's an exaggeration, but she honestly is one of the most over women wrestlers in all of WWE history. And so yeah, that's the thing. It obviously has the better wrestlers as well with Sasha and Charlotte, but that's that. But in terms of booking and opportunities, SmackDown's the right show for that. SmackDown's the right show for women like Becky, women like Natalia, and women like Naomi, and it's obviously shown. These past couple of weeks. The fans see it and they automatically see, SmackDown will give all of these ladies an opportunity, and that's why I fear when the next drafts come that we don't see Charlotte, Bayley, or Sasha, or even Asuka get drafted over to SmackDown, because that'll be a huge mistake, because SmackDown should really be for the more low-key women's wrestlers, at least for now, because we're going to need a show like that. If you're not going to want to push other women, you better put them on SmackDown. So that's why I think SmackDown is probably the better-ish show in terms of opportunity. But when you look at in terms of wrestling, like I had stated, in terms of star power, it's obviously Raw. But then you look at NXT's women's roster. NXT's women's roster seems to have way more potential. These ladies are actually probably going to end up sending Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, Nikki Bella, Paige, Eva Marie, of course, all of them packing. Like, just bye. Like, they're just going to send them to early retirement. That's how I see NXT's women's division right now. Which is why I think WWE needs to either make another show or have NXT start drafting back and forth and drafting wrestlers to NXT. Obviously, it won't happen, but I think they should. But it won't again. But anyways, Asuka, she is probably one of the all-time greats of this generation, at least for in Japan. But when you look at it in NXT, she's obviously one of the greatest NXT women's wrestlers to have come from NXT. She's amazing right now, and it's obvious. Like, she's just badass. And you look at Ember Moon, and she's badass as well. And you see Billie Kay, and she's awesome. Her gimmick's amazing, and her wrestling, like, Ember Moon and Billie Kay impressed us quite a bit at NXT Takeover. At least me. I don't know about you guys, but they really did. Both Billie and Ember. So that being said, already with those three ladies impressing the crowd and impressing the people, you're gonna end up seeing these three ladies be the new four horsewomen or three horsewomen or however many horsewomen, just as an example, you know. And then you even Mandy Rose. I mean, people thought she was gonna be like Eva Marie, where she's not a wrestler. She's just another pretty face wanting to be pushed because she knows how to blow, you know. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Mandy Rose has actually shown way more signs of improvement thanks to the NXT developmental territory. And that's the thing, though. They learned from Eva Marie's mistakes. Cause trust me, had Mandy Rose, my bad, been around when Eva Marie started her whole diva search, Mandy Rose would honestly be at Eva Marie's status, where the two would be getting heat together because they didn't push Mandy Rose right away. They let her train first. They learned from Eva Marie's mistakes. But anyways, that's not the case. But in all honesty, though, NXT does have the better potential. You have these ladies eventually gonna give the run for the money, but all of these ladies to me seem like they're raw potential. Like, once they get called up to the main roster, anyone who hasn't won the championship or anyone who isn't as over as Sasha Banks, Bayley, or Charlotte, or who hasn't been built up to be Sasha Banks, Bayley, or Charlotte. So anyone who hasn't won the title should go to SmackDown. Like, for example, Bayley won the title, she's on Raw. Sasha Banks won the NXT Women's Championship, she's on Raw. Charlotte, she's on Raw. But then Carmella didn't win it, so she's on SmackDown. That's what they should do. You should have all of the non-champions on SmackDown, all of the ones who are being overlooked. With the exception of Nikki Bella, all of those ladies have been really treated poorly at one point. Oh, well, Eva Marie as well, but Eva Marie, we're not counting her at all. Just pretend I'm not talking about Eva Marie. Just crop her out from your mind. But yeah, that's what I think should go on. But this video has turned into like a whole what I do the draft, but that's not what I wanted to do. But if you get what I'm saying, NXT has the better potential. In better words, SmackDown has the better booking, and Raw will always have the better star power, as it should. That being said, I'm honestly more in favor towards SmackDown and NXT's women's division than Raw's. Just because I feel like Raw overrate their women way too much. Like, it's like the hype man that we don't need. Bayley's amazing, but she's not, like, great. Charlotte's amazing, but again, she's not great. Sasha, she's great. Let's just leave it there. But I'm not trying to like be rude or anything. Like, just please don't think I'm trying to take shots at these ladies and that they suck. No, they don't suck. But Alexa Bliss, I mean, she's way more charismatic and way better on the mic than Sasha Banks is. And she's as skillful as Sasha. That's what people don't see. Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks can be mere opposites or be exactly the same. Depends on how you look at it. But again, because Sasha's on Raw, the women there will always be more overrated. With more, they just seem more overrated in my opinion. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, and if I do, I'm sorry, but this is like my opinion. You gotta honestly see that that's the case, because you have Summer Rae on that show, you have Alicia Fox on the show. Alicia Fox can do a whole lot more than what they let her do on Raw and on SmackDown and on all in general. She can do a lot more, but because she is a quote unquote jobber, they're not going to let her do what Charlotte does. Fox can do a freaking moonsault. Fox can do a power bomb. Fox can do a lot of the things Charlotte does or Sasha does, but they don't give her the opportunity to do so, as well as Summer and as well as Paige. Although Paige had her opportunity way too many times, and I gotta say that Paige got lazy. But again, that's a whole different topic towards that. Don't mean to offend anybody, but that's the case with Raw. It's that it'll always overrate their women. As for on SmackDown, there are no favorites. On SmackDown, there isn't really a favorite. I mean, you can argue that Eva and Nikki are the favorites, but they also seem to be teasing a Becky Lynch push. And you can tell that Becky Lynch is already one of the faces of SmackDown. Not even Eva. It's Nikki and Becky who are the two faces of SmackDown. Which is why I think that, again, if the draft were to happen where they have to honestly draft women from NXT or switch people to SmackDown, it should be women who haven't really had a name for themselves yet or haven't been able to make one, or someone who hasn't won the title, which I already kind of see being either Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, or Aaliyah. I feel like those ladies will never ever win the NXT Women's Championship. I could be wrong, I could be right, who knows, but I just feel like that's how it is. And so, that being said, I think those are the women who should go to SmackDown. As for the women who should go to Raw, are Asuka and Ember and maybe Mandy Rose. I don't know, depends how great she does. But anyways, though, that was it for that. Again, though, I think SmackDown does have the better the better women's roster in terms of opportunity. I feel like SmackDown as a show will give the women opportunity, but then again, Raw has the better faces. So I'm gonna have to lean more towards, if you're looking at it from not so much in depth and you're looking at it right away, it's obviously gonna be Raw. So I'm gonna have to give this one to Raw, although I prefer SmackDown's women's division way more. But yeah, that's just me. you know. But I also like NXT women's roster. But anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. Comment down below which roster do you think which show has a way better women's roster. And as well as leave some questions down below on maybe future video ideas. Which kind of videos would you like to see me do in the future? I would love to do a Q&A, but I would need more questions to be commented. So please leave some questions down below. And until next time.